Afternoon, everybody. RDAPdan here. Running a little bit ahead of time as normal. We've got about 2-3 minutes before we go ahead and get started. Give you guys a couple of extra seconds to roll on in. But for those of you that are already here, hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Hope you guys did something fun and productive. What's that? Hi, Mary. How are you? What's up, El Gordo? Guys, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so while we're waiting. Subscribe, like my channel, share these videos. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Pretty new to Snapchat, but you can pretty much go to any one of those social medias and just look up RDAPdan, and I've got it on the screen for you guys for easy to remember. So you can always go back to this video. What's up, Chris? Chris, did Shelly send you those letters, right, Chris? Hanging out with the Red Bull tonight. Not a big Red Bull drinker at all, but didn't sleep too well last night. Got up pretty early. Wasn't behind your back, Jesse. It was on the stream. What's up, Kevin? We were commenting, Jesse, on how verbally upset you became when I decided to not run a full hour show. And you made it very vocal on the chat. So I was commenting on that. So if that's talking, so be it. But make sure you check me out on man, I got a weird message today while we're waiting. I got some message from somebody ask me, I should have. And have you guys ever heard of this? It's called, it was insane. I actually looked it up. Gang stalking. Gang stalking. You guys should look up on YouTube, gang stalking. Pretty crazy. Not sure if it's real. I mean, the people really think it's real, but I think it's a bunch of people that are super paranoid that maybe have an illness. But look up gang stalking. I had a client or somebody email me today and told me they need help because they're getting gang stalked, and I didn't know what that meant. I thought maybe the feds were bullying them or something crazy, and it's completely nothing to do at all with what we talk about here on the show. So I'm not sure how the guy even got a hold of me, but Brian Rivera, about to get sentenced soon. Any ideas for a lesser sentence? That's pretty much what we're going to be talking about today, Brian. So we're giving everybody another minute or so to roll in, and we'll definitely go into that. Yeah, you're scolding. You know, you can't get upset, Jesse. Jesse wants his scolding, guys. So, Jesse, I do these videos to put out content to help you guys. And I can't always promise I'm going to give you guys an hour. Never have promised I was going to give you an hour. And I just thought it was kind of childish how upset you got when I had to cut it short after 20 or 30 minutes. You got really, really upset. Definitely were in your feelings. So that's your scolding. Just, be thankful for that that you can have any type of content being given to you, because there's not a lot of people out there doing that. So maybe you should just be a little more grateful. Find reasons to be thankful for things. That's your scolding. That's no big deal. I've got no hard feelings, man. Just glad you're back. What's up, Will? Mr. Will in the house? Armando Ramirez, is it hard to visit someone in federal prison? It's not really hard to visit somebody in federal prison. You just got to get approved and get put on the visitation list. And once you're on that visitation list and you've been approved, so basically the inmate would need to send you a visitation form that you fill out, send it back in, you get approved, takes a couple days once they get it back, and then you can go in. The hardest part is just the procrastination, putting it off. If you actually just take those steps and go do it, it's really not that big of a deal. But a lot of people just don't know where to start. So your loved one that's in prison needs to send you a visitation form that you have to fill out. You could probably find that same visitation form on the BOP's website as well, I would imagine. You just got to dig through it. And if you tell me which prison you're trying to go, or which prison he's in, camp, low, medium, pen, things like that, we can try to find that visitation form for you so you can get it filled out. RDAPdan will do that for you. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump right in here. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure you check me out on social media, rdapdan. I'm at Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. If you guys want to send me some crazy pictures, I just started using Snapchat with RDAP, so check it out. Make sure you share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. What's up, Will? We got Will, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. All right, so we just had somebody in here ask about any thoughts or ideas of what they can do to possibly reduce a potential federal prison sentence, or any prison sentence, state, federal, but we mostly focus on federal just because that's where I've been, that's where I have most of my information and knowledge from. Also, there was a really good video put out today by another guy in the industry, Justin Perperny. I don't know if you guys follow his channel at all, but he did an interview with a federal defense attorney who actually talks about the pre-sentence report, memorandums, different things at the time of sentencing, which is all relevant content to a lot of the stuff that we talk about. So I think it's important for that information to be shared. So if you guys, actually, you know what, here, I'll post a link to it. You guys can check it out. Here's a link in the description that is to one of Justin Perperny's videos, and it was a really, really good video, guys. You know, I'm not going to go on here and promote another prison consultant unless I really see something I like. Well, oh, what's up, Bill? William Light. Everybody say hi to William Light. Fortunately for William Light, he's Bill. He goes by, does anybody actually call you William? I don't know anybody that calls you William. Everybody calls him Bill. Anyway, I've known this guy since I was a young teenager. His girlfriend was his sister was my very first girlfriend. And yeah, I've known Bill forever. We got the same birthday, November 27th. So I'm glad you could join us, Bill. A little fun known fact you guys want to know about Bill. One of his brothers is the original Red Power Ranger from back in the 90s, Jason, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's his brother. So that's pretty neat. Austin St. John. So we got a celebrity's brother in the house, everybody. Well, you know, Jesse, I get it, you know, but people that need the good information, you know, you got to kind of chew up the meat and spit out the bones. So, you know, not everybody's going to like everybody's personality or whatever it is, but Justin had a hell of a good video today. And, you know, I mean, a lot of the stuff we're talking about is we get information from different sources, and I'm going to steal some information from Justin because it was good information. But anyway, so let's go into this. So for those of you that are looking to potentially have a better outcome at sentencing, you know, it starts now. And if you're getting sentenced next week or next month, not to say you can't maybe do some things right now that might potentially make a difference, but the more time that you allow yourself to prepare properly is really what's going to make the big difference here, guys. So some of the things that you can be doing is making sure that you are going to work every single day. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal, but at the time of sentencing, when you're standing in front of a judge and you're hoping that he or she is going to possibly downward depart from whatever variations that they're looking at, wherever the guidelines landed at, if you're hoping for some kind of a reduction in what they could potentially give you, these are the factors that are going to make a difference. Maintaining a job, maintaining a good relationship with your pretrial probation officer if you're on pretrial probation, making sure that obviously you don't do any of the obvious mistakes, don't get in trouble, don't test dirty, but don't just do the bare minimum either. Don't just go to work and do the bare minimum and hope to get all of these great results in the end of the day. You need to be doing things like supporting in your community, giving back. If you've got victims, identify these victims. Victims can range from the person you may have stolen from, the person you may have taken advantage of, or victims can be friends and family. You know, corporations, you know, maybe you're like, well, I stole money from a bank. You know, these giant corporations, you still did something wrong. They still become a victim of something that you did. And there's no way in the world you can justify that in your mind that is going to be agreed upon by either the prosecution or the judge. So coming to terms and 100% opening up and taking full responsibility is huge. This all has to start as soon as you find out you're in trouble to have the best possible outcome. Coming up with a mentor network, people that can hold you accountable. What's going on, Jay? People that can hold you accountable, and you let them know, hey, I want you to be my mentor because you're the type of person I look up to. You're living the type of life that I want to live, and not necessarily by his toys and wealth, but the type of personality, the type of demeanor, the type of man or woman that he or she is, how they walk their everyday, the personality that you see in them that you want to emulate. And there's nothing wrong with pretending or faking, because eventually it won't be pretending or won't be faking. You'll no longer be emulating. These will become things that actually become who you really become. So if you see somebody doing the things that you want to do, they've got a great conscience, and you see this, go up to them and say, hey, I would like you to be on my mentor network. And what that means for you, I'm not going to give you this giant job responsibility, but I'm going to email you once a week, letting you know what I've done the week prior, what my goals are, if I've hit any of those goals, and just an overall how I'm doing. And I'm asking you that if I don't send that to you, for you to shoot me a text message or pick up the phone and kind of give me a verbal lashing, like, hey, you said you were going to do something. You asked me to go out of my way and be your in your mentor network, and you're not holding up to your end. If you're not able to do this right now, how are you going to be able to do this throughout the entire pretrial situation, through your prison journey, and once you get released, once you hit to probation in the halfway house, and you have to deal with all of those ups and downs? If you can't focus on it now, how are you going to focus on it later on? Starting preparation early on, especially if it's before your PSR interview. And Byron Rivera, have you already done your PSR, Byron? If you haven't done your PSR report and you haven't had that interview with the U.S. probation, that is really the ideal time to engage with somebody like me, a prison consultant or a prison coach. Because a lot of you have attorneys, right? Whether you have a paid attorney or a federally appointed attorney, and you start hearing about all these things like, I need personal narratives, I need character reference letters, I need to make sure I'm prepared for my PSR, I want to make sure I can get into RDAP, and you go talk to your attorney. And your attorney gives you very little input, very little insight, and you start thinking, well, this guy's no good. I can't use this attorney. I have to go hire a different attorney. And we all know the cost of attorneys. You know, some of you have already gone through it. Some of you have spent, 6 figures on an attorney, but we're at least going to spend tens of thousands of dollars on an attorney. So if you decide your attorney is not doing he or her job properly, and you think you're going to go get a different outcome from a different attorney, even if you pay more money, a lot of the times that is not the case. So in some situations, what ends up working out into your best interest is the attorney that you have, as long as he's focusing hard on your plea, making sure that you're going to get the best possible outcome as far as, not going to a high security prison, making sure that he's working out some sort of deal with prosecution that's going to give you a sentence that you can deal with. Beyond that, letters, RDAP, preparing for your PSR, that's when you want to engage somebody like a prison coach or a prison consultant. We're going to be the fraction of a cost. Now, this shouldn't be about money, but just to throw that in there, it's going to be a fraction of the cost. That's what it's going to cost you to go hire a new attorney. So now you can take all of the knowledge from a prison consultant and you combine that with your run-of-the-mill attorney, and it really does create somewhat of a powerhouse team. Now, at the end of the day, we don't care who gets the credit. Your attorney can have all the credit. If he gets probation, he can have all that credit in saying he got your probation. Great job, Mr. Attorney. But the main concern and the main focus, at least coming from what we do, is always going to be what's in the best interest of the client. And one of the frustrating things is when a potential client will come in and start asking for help at the tail end. PSR has already been done. No offense, Rivera. We're going to, no offense to you on that, but it happens where PSR has been done. There's been certain things that are already kind of set in motion that are very, very difficult to undo once they've been done. So if you're watching this video and you have not already done your PSR, your pre-sentence report, or gone to federal probation and had that interview, if you have not already done that, that is a really good time to pick up the phone and call, because then there's so many different directions it could potentially go that can make a difference. Now, if you've already done your PSR, you still want to get on the phone and see where you're at. But if you're going to call me with, you've got sentencing tomorrow, the next day, you've got sentencing in a couple of days, you haven't done your letters, you're not prepared, and all of a sudden you expect like RDAPdan to pull the fucking rabbit out of his hat and fix everything, you're kind of not being realistic with yourself. And as much as I try to set realistic expectations, I'm at a point where I may start giving you guys some information, referring you to a video, but I don't think I'm going to feel completely confident taking somebody's money that wants that type of an outcome, but is coming in literally at the last second, just because it's such a shot in the dark. And we all know if it doesn't work, you're going to be upset, you're going to be frustrated, and I don't want to be on that other end of that. That's not why I do this. I don't do this so I can get stressed out and get yelled at by anybody. And to this day, I've had an awesome client load. But the last I would say the last 2 weeks, I've been getting people coming in literally at the tail end wanting to use our services. We've actually started turning people away. Not turning away from giving information, but turning away from letting them hire us as a consultant, just because what they're needing is not really that likely of potentially happening. All right, so other things that you can be doing, if you're not doing community service right now, if you have the free time, and if you don't have the free time, think about how you can move around your schedule and make the free time. If you're not doing things like community service, that is going to also, look, if it doesn't make a difference, nothing that you do is guaranteed to make a difference. But you can be sure that if you don't put any effort in, you're almost guaranteed that nothing will happen. That's pretty much the guarantee, is nothing positive will happen if you don't put the effort in. If you put the effort in now, the possibility of good things happening is extremely likely and extremely possible. Any prison consultant that you talk to, I don't care who it is, the best of the best, the worst of the worst, the one thing they will all tell you is the more effort you put in is going to have the better possibility of a positive outcome for your favor. That's a fact. As Billy Gomez said a few minutes ago, fact. You think it's too late to do community service already? When do you get sentenced, Byron? I mean, it's never too late. It's the later you wait, the lesser possible chance of a positive outcome maybe. But if you're still willing to go do it, and have you done personal narratives or character references? You're getting sentenced in August, so you got June, you got all of July. Have you done your personal narrative and character references, Byron? How much money to get me sent to a female? Juan, are you asking how much money it takes to get a female sent to you in prison? Okay, so Byron, you haven't done your personal narrative or your character references yet. That is next to your PSR interview. Your personal narrative and your character reference letters are absolutely one of the most important factors that's going to play a role on what you get sentenced. You said you were looking at, did you say 60 months? Do you have a minimum mandatory, Byron, just out of curiosity? And guys, I apologize if somebody asked questions and I missed it. Please copy and paste it and repost it or just type it again. They just asked for a couple numbers so they can talk to a couple people about me. That's different. That's probably for the PSR, but I'm talking about, you should probably text me. Sounds like you've got a lot going on. Yeah, 60-month minimum. You're getting sentenced to 60 months, or 60 months is the minimum, Byron, just to be clear on that. And Chris is looking at a 5-year. But Chris, man, you've made like night and day changes, brother, from the day you and I met to where you are now. And I can tell because I don't hear from you as often, which at first was nerve-wracking. 60 months is the minimum. Is there a cap, Byron? Or is it just 60? What are your guidelines? Hey, Jesse, you got to do what you got to do, man. We all got responsibilities and we all want positive outcomes. And if I'm a little sluggish tonight and Red Bull's going to give me some wings to come hang out with you all, well, hey, sugar-free Red Bull it is. And that's what I'm saying, Jesse, is when Chris, when you and I first started talking, you were, a nervous wreck, anxiety-ridden. Like, I don't want to say you were suicidal because you probably weren't, but man, you were like on that you were walking on that edge. And now, I don't hear from you for a few days or almost a week, and then I might get an email like last week. We caught up a little bit and talked, and you had that one day and you said you pretty much reeled it back in. By the time I spoke to you, you had already reeled it in and got it back under control. And that's the point of doing these processes and doing these exercises. 60 months is the minimum. Doing those exercises, guys, to help with anxiety is going to help you get through your day to day to day. When you allow that anxiety to just overload your brain and you don't know how to get rid of it or dump it off, it becomes almost overwhelming. And we see it happen. You hear about it in the media, you hear about it in the news, you hear about white-collar criminals that are getting in trouble in these indictments, and they're all caught up, and you'll hear all of a sudden one or two of them off themselves when it wasn't that big of a deal. They allowed it to become way bigger than it really was, and that's fear riddled with anxiety. So ways that you can work on that is go out and exercise, read books. Tony Robbins' books are great books. Awaken the Giant Within. Create a little calendar, and every time you have a bad thought, you make a check mark on it, and the minute you make that check mark, you force yourself to go do something positive to counteract that negative thought and that negative feeling. And what you'll find is the more you do this, you'll start seeing fewer and fewer moments of anxiety and lesser times when it happens. Instead of like maybe anxiety hits you, instead of it riddling you for the entire day, you might be able to get it reeled in, under control, 30, 40 minutes, and pack it away and go on. That's the idea. Is none of these things that we talked about are going to stop you from having anxiety. At least that's not what they're intended for. They're intended to give you exercises in ways to deal with the anxiety when it happens so it doesn't consume and control you. You've got to maintain control or else you're going to be lost. Dealing with your attorney, not allowing your attorney just to blow you off. When you have a question for your attorney, you've got to drill him. For those of you that are cooperating, 5K1, looking for Rule 35s, you got to make sure that you've dealt with your attorney, finding out what your custody level is. I'm not talking about your base offense level or your criminal history level. I'm talking about your custody level. You need to know what your custody level is, because if you're going anywhere higher than a low, 5K1s, cooperation, Rule 35s can cause a negative effect for you in prison. It can make your prison stay very, very non-friendly. It can make it a dangerous environment where you're constantly not being allowed to sit at certain tables. You might have to go check into the SHU, which is like the special housing unit, the hole. You can't walk the yard. You can't hang out with certain types of people. So you want to know these things prior to you making all of these decisions just because you want a lesser sentence. Some people weigh the cost. Would I rather have a longer sentence but be able to serve my time in comfort, or would I rather have a shorter sentence but be in fear of my life the entire time I'm there? Now, if you're going to a camp or low, that's very unlikely to be a situation for you. Cooperation, 5K1s, Rule 35s, they do not affect camps and lows the same way they affect mediums and pens. So if you have questions on that, feel free to email me or text me. My email's on here. You guys got my phone numbers right there at the top of the screen. You can also make sure you text the word YouTube to 35074 to get on our notification list, getting awesome updates. We might do a tip of the week, and you're only going to get it if you subscribe to that. Jesse called Dan. Jesse will not call. He's in his own world, man. We've been asking Jesse to call for months. I'd love Jesse to give me a call and have a conversation with him. Find out if he's even real. Jesse, are you really real? Jesse Tang. He's part of the Wu-Tang Clan. All we know is Jesse's on the East Coast. So he'll start leaving breadcrumbs and we'll pick up the trail. We're going to find you, Jesse. But look, we all need help. We all need it in different ways. And maybe Jesse gets enough information from the video and the channels and the different content. Not everybody is able to pick up the phone and call. But you guys just let Jesse do his thing, man. He's getting all upset right now, so we'll kind of let Jesse sit over there and unwind, de-stress. You got to use some of these exercises I'm doing, Jesse. Jesse, drop down and give me 20 push-ups right now. So you blow all your energy on that instead of blowing a gasket. I believe you're real, Jesse. I was just asking if you were. You never know. It could be fake people. We're on the internet, guys. We don't ever know who's real and who's not real. But I'm sure you're real. I'm going to take your word for it because that's all we can do. We got people all over the place. So when you're preparing for federal prison, I hope you guys do check out Justin's video because it actually was a really, really good video. I usually don't watch other people's videos from start to finish unless they've got some content and some information that in there that was, I don't want to use the word entertaining, but there needs to be a slight hint of entertainment or else you're going to get fucking bored and not want to watch. And Justin did a great job on that interview. So if you're watching the video, Justin, thumbs up to you, my man. Johnny, what's up, Johnny? I fall to level 23 and it's my first charge. So you got a minimum mandatory 60 months. So we know you're going to get the 60 months. There's no way around that. That's going to be the best case scenario for you, Byron. But what you want to be able to control now, or at least have input in, is not getting any additional time. And I don't know, do you qualify? Do you know if you qualify for RDAP, Byron? Like based on, you did your PSR. Have you gotten your PSR back yet? Do you have it in your possession? I would love to take a look at your PSR if you do have it. Jesse's going to work in the day, volunteer at night. There we go. Night shift. There's always something to do. You can do something for somebody, even if it's not a place that will give you like hours. Even if it's you going out and making a difference in your community, picking up trash at night, engaging and just tracking what you do and making notation of this and being honest about it in your letters. Michael B started at 6.5, got down to 1 to 2 with a 2-year cap. All right, Michael B. Juan Carlos. In proffer, naming oh man, it'd be great if you could walk into your proffer and say, before I do this proffer, I would like immunity. And you would probably have to be giving them some ridiculous, substantial, incriminating where the bodies are buried, where the guns are hidden, where the $6 billion is located for the feds to ever agree to give immunity at the time of signing a proffer. But can always count on Juan Carlos. Proffers are no fun, guys. They're just not, because opens up the door for a lot of other things, and you're going to get grilled and drilled, and it's not fun. But it may be the only successful path for you to not get a ton of time. The one thing I did notice in the video today with Justin and David Rosenfield, the federal defense attorney, was they were talking about if you're cooperating, the feds will usually be willing to help you out. Probation, when you're doing your PSR, may be willing to go in and, after they review it, when it comes back and your attorney reviews it, may be willing to go in and make changes, remove a few things to help your points, this and that. But if you're not cooperating, and this is done after being found guilty or after trial, they want to hammer you and slam you to the wall because you wanted to go to trial. We can talk about it till we're blue in the face. Clearly, the system is not fair, because let's say, okay, I do have people that I talk to that I honestly believe are innocent to a degree enough to where they don't deserve prison time, but they are so afraid to go to trial and potentially lose at trial because the amount of time that they may be looking at if they lose versus whatever it is the plea they're taking is completely night and day. Like one of them, you've got a life to live still. One of them, it's fucking game over, and it could potentially be life in prison. So when you're faced with those kind of weighing options that you have to make a decision, and you're forced to take this plea because the magnitude of not taking the plea if you lose is almost unbearable. So it sucks to see how they can use that as a tool to convince you to take a plea. There's a lot of prison tools that the system uses against you, especially if they can get you locked up in county jail with no bond and get you to sit in there. You can't wait to take a plea because county jail becomes a nightmare. Nothing to do. Food sucks. Dark. Closed quarters. Might be locked down 22, 23 hours a day on a regular basis. Very little rec time. Very little shower time. Very little talk to your family time. And that, over the course of time, can take a massive toll on your mind to the point where you feel like you want to go crazy. That 23 some odd days that I spent in the county jail up here in Washington was worse than the entire 13 months that I spent in federal prison. I was sentenced to 42 months. I served 13 months due to some amazing people that helped me through my situation. RDAP, halfway house. These are all things that you guys need to be thinking about now. You need to be thinking about, the problem is when we first get in trouble, we're in denial. We're not necessarily in denial that we committed a crime. We're in denial that what I did could land me in prison and that I might actually go to prison. We don't even want to say that thought out loud initially. We tell ourselves, no fucking way. The judge, the prosecutor, the DA, they're all going to see that deep down inside I'm a good guy or I'm a good woman. I've got a family to take care of. They depend on me. They're going to see this and realize we can't put this guy in jail. There's murderers and rapists out there that need to go to jail. Well, it takes a while to swallow that pill. And the sooner you can swallow that pill, the better the entire outcome can potentially be for you. And you can start moving on to, okay, I've accepted the fact that I might go to prison. Once you've accepted that fact, now you can start focusing on the mitigating circumstances on what you can potentially have a presence in controlling. Some of it's always going to be out of your control. It's always going to be up to the judge what he's deciding to do, or guidelines if you've got minimum mandatories, things like that. But what role can you play? And the role you can play is showing them that you are not just this monster that they may try to paint a picture of. And ways you do that is by creating a defense for yourself that is undisputable. Get out there and show that you're going to maintain a job, that you're not going to do anything wrong. Look, a lot of times why the prosecutors don't want you to be able to bond out, or they say you might be a flight risk, is they know when somebody's out on pretrial and they're doing the right thing, not having dirty UAs, going to work every day, making a difference, they know those things play into your favor at sentencing, because the judge is like, all right, well, you've been out 2 years and you kept your nose clean. There's no sense for me to sentence you to the max. But when you don't have that, when you were sitting in county the entire time, they can still say, you haven't done anything with your life. You've been sitting in jail, so you haven't really been able to do anything productive. So if you're out on pretrial right now, that is a plus. That is to your favor. Use that time wisely. Get your head out of the fucking sand. Stop crying. Stop dwelling. Stop thinking about, oh, I'm going to go to prison. This is going to ruin my life. Stop thinking about how you're not going to get a job when you get out of prison. Start thinking about what you can do this moment, what you can do today. And being for most of you, you're on the East Coast, it's 10:30. What can you do tomorrow to start making a potential difference in that outcome that's down the road at that day of sentencing? When you stand in front of that judge in that day where he lays down that sentence and is going to dictate how the rest of your the next part of your short-term life is going to play out, you have a role to play in that. If you're not putting effort into your personal narrative and your character reference letters, you do not care. I'm dead serious. If you're watching these videos, if you've been watching rdapdan on YouTube for the last several months, and you've been watching other prison consultants for the last several months, regardless if you agree with our different ways of going about it, if you agree with our tactics, if you agree with what we charge, if you hate what we charge, whatever it is, the one thing that every one of us says is your personal narrative and your character reference letters are going to play a major role at the time of sentencing, and it could be to your favor. They could have no fucking effect at all, or they can make you look like a complete moron and piss the judge off if you say something that's really messed up in there. And if you don't know what needs to go into one, you need to pick up the phone. Even if you think you know and you have one written, send it in. Let me take a look at it. Let our team take a little sneak peek at it. We're not going to charge you for that. We're going to tell you this is really good. Good job. We're not going to just say it sucks just because we want you to become a client. We will give you some honest feedback. Some of you have written amazing personal narratives, or at least started off amazing and didn't need a whole lot of band-aiding and direction and editing. Jesse, I'm talking to everybody, man. I mean, if I'm trying, but doubt is holding me back. Jesse, I'm not talking to you specifically. I'm talking to anybody and everybody that potentially may see this video or that's in the room right now that is looking at going to federal prison and isn't taking it serious. And if you think taking it serious is just putting all of your trust in your attorney, you're being lazy and you're not doing the next steps necessary. That's the difference between doers and talkers. Talkers talk about how the system's so unfair, nothing ever goes their way, and life sucks, and I can't ever catch a break, and nothing ever goes good for me. Oh my God. We just need like lightning bolts. Every time somebody says that, just bzz, bzz, zap them off the planet because it's a waste of a thought. Or change your shitty thinking and do something about it. That's what I'm saying. What's your opinion, Dan? Coat and tie? Fuck you. Dude, coat and tie the whole way, Juan Carlos. Be professional, because what it's showing is mad respect. Showing respect. Showing fear. You and I had this conversation on the phone. You don't want to go in there acting like, I'm a cool cucumber, I got it all figured out. You want to go in there like you're afraid, you're there. You want to almost seem like, hey, whatever you guys need me to do, as long as I can do it, I want to do it because I'm terrified. You want them to feel that they've got that upper hand, that power belongs to them. Don't try to take the power away from them. Don't try to play the tough guy, because it's not going to work in your favor. These guys control a lot of how it's going to roll out and play out. So do not underestimate that. Don't go in there dressed in like how I'm dressed right now. Don't go in there like this. I look like I'm going to go play tennis or go hit a few golf balls. I don't look like I'm getting ready to go to court or go to a meeting. So do not dress like this. Dress professional. If you don't have a suit, go fucking rent one. The day of court, man, shave. If you've got a beard, get rid of it. Unless you're going to groom it down professionally. But if you've got some, outback beard, get rid of it. Don't be that guy. I was that guy. I wore my stupid beard in. I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have done, that I learned, went through the hoops, made the mistakes, and I'm here now to share that information with you guys, and you take it for what it is. And Byron, I hope you do text me, man. I hope you text me, because obviously it's hard for me to give you the one-on-one attention right now that I would like to give you. But I do want you to text me. I'd like to have. Look, it's not going to cost you a dime, brother, to pick up the phone and call me. Nothing. I just want to give you some information, give you a couple tips, see where you're at in the situation. If my services become something that you think you want, we can talk about that. But really, I just want to make sure that before your sentencing, you walk in and you have some tools to go in there so you can at least have some kind of an opportunity to not go above that 60-month cap that you got. So text me, man. If you text me your phone number right now, I'll lock it in. I promise. Got my phone on me. You got my phone number in the screen. Just shoot me a text. Everybody's life sucks sometimes, Jesse. Nobody lives a perfect life. Gwen, please talk to this guy. Jesse, you got to change your mental, bro. Let's talk about Will for a minute. So we all know Will. Will's been in the room. Will, I'm not going to say he beat his case, because he still got sentenced, but he got sentenced to probation. Huge victory. Huge success. Will calls me today. This is something that happens, guys. We don't see this happen a lot. Will called me today. The prosecutor in Will's case is trying to appeal the probation and somehow get it turned over, go back to court, and trying to get him to get jail time. So it's still not over. They got their victory. He was found guilty. He didn't go to jail. He went and got probation, but he was still found guilty. And now they're still trying to dig at him even more because they don't like the fact that he got probation. He wasn't supposed to get probation. His attorney told him he was going to jail. There is no way out of it. You signed paperwork. You're getting the jail time. Undisputable, you're getting it. Prosecutors aren't budging. Forget about it. Will did such an amazing job with everything that he needed to do, took a little bit of guidance and ran with it. Community service. Amazing letters. We had to do some of Will's letters a couple of times over. Will sent me some letters. I called him up and said, can't use these letters, man. I don't know. Maybe you weren't listening. Maybe we were all over the place. Maybe we're talking about a few different things. But the letters I told you we needed are not this. If you turn this in, then you might as well listen to your attorney and just, say, whatever, I'm going to skip court today and just take me to jail. So I told Will, hey, these letters, they suck. They suck. They suck. They suck. They suck. Not because the people weren't trying, but they were trying to go in the wrong direction. They were trying to get that sympathy. They were trying to connect with the judge. You can't do that, but it's our human nature to want to. And when I read Will's letter, perfect at the very end, asking for probation. I had to call Will and say, we have to take that out. The writers are going to make some adjustments, some recommendations, and I hope you like what they do. But man, if you say what you want to say, it's not going to look good, but it's up to you. It's up to all of you to say what you want to say. We sent it to Will, and it was hard for him not to ask for probation at sentencing because you feel like if you don't ask for it, the judge isn't going to think about it. It's like, well, he didn't give you probation because you didn't ask for it. Trust me, it doesn't work that way. The judge is waiting for you to ask him for probation. His claws and his fangs are waiting to pounce on you and drain you of whatever little bit of morality and life you have left in you, because the minute you ask for probation or a probated sentence or go easy on me or my kids are sick or my mom is old, I'm the caretaker. The minute you go down that road, man, the judge's ninja blades come out and just before you know it, you're missing arms, you're decapitated, your head's on the other side of the courtroom. You don't know what just happened. But when you come at him, Your Honor, if you decide today to give me a term of prison, I'm looking forward to that amount of time to make myself a better man. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it, but that's kind of the direction of the side you want to be on. And it's hard to do that because you feel like, I got to ask for probation or else I'm not going to get it. No, you don't. You do not. Don't do it. Don't tell the judge what to do. So that's kind of a little bit of insight there. Some free information for y'all. Don't forget, you can always donate to RDAPdan. And we just sent, finally, that money that you guys donated, finally, from YouTube, hit the account Friday. Friday, hit the account. We just sent Sean Cowgill. We just sent him some we sent him some money for his books today. We sent him some money, and we sent another client some money. So between the two guys, we sent out over $120 thanks to you guys, and we chipped in a little bit too. I think we got like $80 in donations from you guys, and then we tipped in some money as well. And these are helping guys that don't have anything. They have zero in prison. They don't have books. They don't have commissary. They don't have proper hygiene. They have the issued hygiene, but they don't have anything above and beyond. No comfort. Not to say people in prison deserve comfort. That's to each their own. But most of you that are going through this, I think your compassion for people that are in the system now, I think a lot of you may look at it through different eyeballs than how you used to look at the system. Just like me. I used to watch the news. If somebody was arrested, they were guilty. If somebody was going to prison, they fucking did it because they don't send good people to prison. That's not how the world works. Going through it, like you guys are going through it, we all know now that good people make mistakes and pay dearly for it every day. Some of us are more fortunate than others. Some of us are more fortunate to get a better sentence. Some of us are more fortunate to have a decent bank account to where we can afford to live the lifestyle that we want to live while we're in prison. Some of us do not have those luxuries at all. And prison is a very, very bleak place when you do not have that additional love and support coming in. John, he wrote Sean Cowgill a handwritten letter. Things like that. When people get letters and get mail, it makes a huge difference, guys. So if you want to be that person to help somebody, and look, no one's asking you to break your bank. $5 donation, a $10 donation, it adds up, and then we send it out, guys. We send it out to we keep not one penny of it. And we throw in RDAP, our federal prison time, donates as well. You know, it's what we do. People helping people, community is method, guys. So if you want to help somebody, all you got to do, I'll point to it with the camera. You just click right there, little money sign, and the rest is up to you, man. You want to donate a couple dollars, it's appreciated. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to harp on that too long, so I don't want you guys to think these videos are becoming about receiving donations. It's one of the perks of having 1,000 plus subscribers. I'm now able to receive donations. So it's an amazing way for you guys to help spread the word, spread the community. Sharing is, giving back to the community, guys. That's all we're trying to do with that. So let's see here. Will Townsend, I have 2 years probation, but people tell me I would only get 1 if I keep my nose clean. Yeah, probation can be cut down sooner if you do everything you're supposed to do. Your attorney can request your probation to be terminated. If you've got fines and things like that are due, community service that's due, you want to make sure you have that stuff done before you're going and trying to get them to early terminate your probation, because that's going to be the first thing they ask you. Well, you haven't met your fucking conditions. No, we might give you more probation. But you guys have to be able to take the initiative and make the first step into helping yourself. None of this is going to help you if you don't utilize it. None of it. I can tell you all the secrets to success, all the ones that I know anyway, to a successful outcome. And if you don't take advice from that, and you don't apply it to your life and make it become a practical, everyday, look, your entire life right now should be revolved around trying to mitigate the potential outcome. And what can you be doing every single day to make a difference? Some days you might be able to do more, some days you might be able to do less. But if you're not making those attempts, who's in your mentor network? How often are you emailing your pretrial probation officer, just giving them updates? Does your pretrial probation officer offer a pretrial service class? A lot of pretrial probation officers will have classes. Some of them are even mandatory, but some of them offer classes where you can go and you can sit in. It might not be the most useful information, but man, you've got somebody trying. You've got a probation officer that's usually doing that on his own time. It's usually not paid for. It's usually him on his own budget, his own time, trying to prepare people on his caseload. So if you have opportunities like that, take advantage, because it shows that you're putting in time and effort and interest. Go to your community service. Go to your church. Pick up garbage on the street. Go talk to children at school. Go talk to teenagers. Go to boys and girls clubs and say, hey, don't make the same mistakes I made. Don't look for what you're going to get out of it. If they're like, oh, no, we don't do community service. Well, granted, you're not going to give me a piece of paper saying I did hours, but will you allow me to come talk and maybe just write me a little one-page paragraph on how you felt this may impact children growing up, that this could be what they need to hear. That tough love, good people go to jail every day. Don't be the one. Should get that on a shirt. There you go, Jesse. You got people that are trying to reach out to you, man. And, at some point, you gotta either you gotta show these people that you're gonna reach out and talk to them, or you're not. So I appreciate people that are trying to reach out and help Jesse right now, because Jesse's clearly struggling, frustrated, not where he wants to be right now. But Jesse is his biggest, worstest enemy. He's the roadblock in any potential success that he might have. And there's a lot of you out there that are like Jesse. There's probably a lot of you out there that are watching these videos that don't even have the cojones to even text in here, because you don't want to be getting the verbal lashing that Jesse's getting right now. So Jesse, at least you're in here engaging in the room. That's more than some other people might doing, but I think it's time for you to take it to that next step. So do that. Make that step. Leap of faith. Have a chat. We got a decent crew in here tonight. So a lot of people are showing you some love, my man. So take it. I appreciate you guys blowing off the basketball game, especially Juan. Juan's probably watching it right now. He doesn't even know what he's talking about because he's watching is the basketball game on right now? Or maybe it's not on yet. Maybe that's why you guys are here. I should not say how sad I am that this has stressed my 76-year-old father, recently diagnosed with cancer, and my 71-year-old mother running a family. I should not. No, you should say it, Juan Carlos. You should say it, but you shouldn't use it. You should say, I'm ashamed that my actions have stressed out my 76-year-old father to the point of what you're saying. But don't say it in a way where, Your Honor, if I go to jail, this is going to affect my 76-year-old father. You see the difference there? You can get the message across, but it's all the delivery of the message is more important than the message itself. Look at movies. You can take the best actor in the world, whoever your best actor is, throw him out there if you want. Mine's Oscar Isaac because he happens to be a friend of mine. Take Oscar Isaac, who's an amazing actor. If you give him a fucked up script, a fucked up director, fucked up lighting, fucked up scenery, the movie's going to suck, right? It's going to be horrible. You can take a mediocre actor who's not that good. You can take a mediocre actor, give them an amazing script, an amazing director, amazing editing, and you can probably turn that into something pretty decent. So what's important is the delivery of the message on what you're trying to say. You can say the same thing so many different ways, and it can have so many different meanings behind it. Nothing you say to the judge should come off in a tone that sounds like you're begging or you're pleading for mercy. We all know you're pleading for mercy. The judge already knows you don't want to go to prison. You don't need to say it to him for him to go, oh, you mean you don't want to go? Well, you know what? Probation, my man. If you just said that, why didn't you just say you don't want to go to prison? You know, the judge already knows that. That is an unspoken fact. Everybody in that room knows you don't want to go to prison. What they're not prepared for is for you to come in there and accept it and not be okay with it, but come to terms with it and express that remorse and gratitude, showing what you're grateful for right now. You know, you're not getting a 30-year sentence, a 60-year sentence. Most of you guys are getting less than 10 years. Your life will continue. And that's the other factor you got to remember, is you're a fucking small fish in a massive pond. He just got done sentencing a whale probably to life. Imagine Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff gets sentenced to 100 and whatever it was years, right? Thousands of months. And then the next guy comes in the next day and he's getting ready to get sentenced to like 24 months. And the guy's fucking crying and begging. And in the back of the judge's mind, he's like, can't we just shoot this guy? Doesn't he know I just sentenced somebody to life in prison and took everything away from him? His son committed suicide. His other son died of whatever the fucking illness was. His wife will never talk to him again. And this guy's upset because I might sentence him to 24 months. I wish I could give that guy more time. That probably runs through the judge's mind. So be grateful, show gratitude that you're in a situation that has an outcome, that you're going to be okay at the end. You will be eating McDonald's soon enough. Your wings are on their way, guys, because Red Bull gives you the wings. So, man, you gotta put it into perspective. You have to take it out of your. That's the thing, is we all deal with pressure and stress different ways. Look at children and the stresses they have right now, right? I talked to my daughter. My daughter's 17 years old, and she's really, really stressed. And but she can't like put her thumb on it and what she's stressed about. So a lot of it is her age. She's going through emotions, hormones, but a lot of it is probably a little bit. It could be, attention seeking. You don't know. But what you do know is you can't cater to it. You can't cater to stress. You can't cater to and we're going to use you for an example, Jesse. So don't take this personal. We can't cater to the Jesse Tangs of the world. We can give all the information out there. We can make ourselves available. We can give the open door policy. But the Jesse Tangs of the world have to walk through the door. You've got to be willing to knock, turn the handle, step in, and be willing to accept help. Because help cannot be bestowed on you. I can't ball up help and throw it through the computer screen, hit you in the face, and boom, all of a sudden now you're fixed, right? Nobody can do that. So the Jesse Tangs of the world have to identify that and stop being the victim and step in and get involved. So that wasn't a direct punch at you, Jesse. That's a direct punch at all the people that are in this room or watching this video that struggle with the same struggles that you struggle with, Jesse. So the good thing about you in here right now is you're making an awareness of how many people struggle with what you struggle with. You're not alone. There's a lot of people that suffer with all of this, riddled with anxiety, and just can't bring themselves to do anything about it. But somebody may be watching this video right now, and because we're beating up on you so much, Jesse, somebody else that may be dealing with the same thing may pick up the phone tomorrow and go, you know what, I heard you talking to that guy, Jesse Tang, and I swear to God you were talking to me. So I'm going to call you right now. So you may not get the help you need, Jesse, but you may be helping other people right now and not even fucking know it. I just realized I didn't put my makeup on. Damn. But do I still look pretty? Breaking the ice. Jesse's in tears. Good cry, never hurt anybody. I was crying. I was crying, can't remember. I was on the phone with I was on the phone. I was on the phone with the guy that actually decided I didn't want to help because it was just not enough time. I didn't feel comfortable taking his money, but I had him and his daughter on the phone, and his daughter is trying to write, and I gave them, some templates, and I still gave them some samples so they could try to work on their own letters. I can't put my team on it because there's not enough time. But I gave them these letters, and I was talking to his daughter about what she needs to put in the letters. And I was like, hey, make sure you don't paint your dad as a Superman. Because if you paint your dad as a Superman, a super dad, it's not going to help at sentencing. And his daughter, it was just not what I was expecting. His daughter said, oh, no. He's definitely not a Superman. He's really not been there in my life, and I don't know what to put in these letters. And the father got so upset. Well, are you even sad that I'm going to prison? Are you even upset? And it's like, whoa. He's not hearing what his daughter's saying. And that is so sad and devastating to hear that you've got your daughter sitting here telling you, hey, you haven't been there. And you're going to get mad and try to turn it around and say, you don't know this and you don't know that. It's like, this is how she feels, man. You just look, if I say something, or let's say I have a certain feeling about you, right? Let's say when Jesse Tang said last week, when he said, whatever he said when I signed off early, this is a fucking ripoff, whatever he said. Let's say I really allowed that to affect me, and I decided I no longer want Jesse Tang in my room, and I delete him out of the room. Now, that'd be a pretty bitch move on my part to do that, because I know Jesse's just frustrated. So, but if I did that, right? Let's say I did that. You can't tell me how I'm supposed to feel. I'm allowed to have my own feelings. And the way I feel, you can't try to change that with your words. You can only change that with actions. Okay? Just because you tell me I shouldn't be mad at you doesn't mean that I'm going to just stop being mad at you. Now, if you demonstrate that over enough time, okay, I might decide to change because I want to change my mind. But when you try to enforce your opinion, enforce your beliefs, enforce your thoughts on people, what you get is you get blowback from that because it doesn't work. You can't just control a situation because you want to. You've got to learn how to communicate, and communication is fucking key, guys. Communication is key. When somebody's talking, listen and let them know you're listening. Give back body language. There's another, I wish I had it right now. There's another amazing video that I want to share with you guys, and it's another guy that actually went to prison. I meant to talk about him, and I keep forgetting to. So let me look him up real quick on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got a decent amount of subscribers. It's not consulting, but maybe you guys have actually seen him. Maybe you haven't. And he had a great video. Here we go. I think this was it. Should you go to college? Should people let's pause. Okay. If you guys don't know Zach, he's got a YouTube channel called Win with Zach. Check this video out, guys. He's got a great video about communication. Communication is key because when someone's talking and you're not listening and you're already thinking about what you're going to say next, or you're cutting, this is called a form of cutoff. If I'm giving you my opinion on something and you start to, because you disagree with me, halfway through me talking, you all of a sudden jump in and start going, oh, no, you start cutting in. there's no way you're listening to anything I'm saying. So there's a complete lack of respect for me, complete lack of respect for the conversation, and there's no way we can actively communicate and process. When I'm talking, you have to listen. When you're talking, I have to listen, and I have to be able to give you feedback, letting you know that I comprehended what you said. Doesn't mean I have to agree with you, but I got to give you that respect to finish what you're saying so I can communicate back with you in a professional manner that can allow us to have this conversation back and forth. Most people aren't able to do that, guys. They just don't. They're not able to. So check out Win with Zach. He's an ex-felon who's turning his life around and does all kinds of crazy stuff on his YouTube channel. And I like him. I follow him. I talk to him on the phone sometimes through text messages. But guys, there's a lot of good content out there. You know, don't just lock yourself into one area. I use the same analogy if I'm going to go work out. I'm not just going to do push-ups, right? I'm going to go work on other parts of my body too. I'm going to go work on my legs. I'm going to go work on my diet. I'm going to go work on arms, on your back, on your cardio. Because if you only work on one thing, you might get okay with that one thing, but everything else is lacking and the machine still doesn't run right. So you guys, in order to mitigate your potential sentence, there's not a short answer for that. The answer is you got to fucking work hard. You got to be willing to make a change, make a difference in your life, in your everyday, what you're supposed to be doing. Your personal narrative, your character reference letters are huge. And if you have those done right, and you've also got the support of your growth network, what you've been doing with mentors, what you've been doing with community service, your positive conduct with U.S. probation, all of these things, I'm telling you, they get seen when it's the right time, and it can make all the difference in the world. All you have to do is do it. And that's where we all, for some reason, get stuck. We procrastinate. We forget how easy, so many of you, including myself right in there, so many of us have things that we should have done today that we didn't do, that probably weren't even serious, big deal things we've been putting off. But by putting them off, what grows? Anxiety grows from that. Anxiety grows from putting shit off. Seemingly unimportant decisions screw us up. So start making better decisions. Start making decisions. The more decisions you start making, the effect from that is the decision making will get better and better with practice. But you just have to be willing to make decisions, and you have to be willing to be okay with not every decision is going to be the best decision, but I'm going to keep making decisions, because making decisions is going to be the key ingredient that's going to help me make change. Do I have a contact at Coleman? I applied to work there. No, not to that level. I don't, Brian. So I hope you get a job there. Are you trying to work just any job at Coleman? CO, the camp, the low, medium, one of the pens. But that's good, man. It's awesome to have people in this chat room, guys, that aren't just going to federal prison, because different walks of life, we all interact with each other, but we all kind of live in our own little bubbles when we're not here in the social media world. If someone is surrendering next month, is it too late? Will, the answer to that is it too late for what? Is it too late to show the judge that you've already been sentenced? It's not too late to change your attitude. It's not too late to become a positive person. And because look, your change, let's say you're surrendering next month, you've already been sentenced, you've already gone through all of this stuff, but you didn't do any of this stuff that we're talking about, and you're like, oh, what's the point? I'm gonna surrender next month. The point is, if you build an attitude now that's a worthy attitude that people are going to want to be around, that you can be an influence or be influenced positively, the change will be, while you're in prison, you're going to start making better choices if you start the change now. If you wait till you get to prison to start the change, it's never too late to start, but the sooner you start, the better the results of whatever those results are going to be. It's literally, guys, if you think of, you're going down a path and you come to the end of that path, and there's a million spidering off directions on which path you can take. Everybody's may be a little bit different, but what I can tell you is the earlier down that path you start preparing for what you want your ultimate path to be, when you get to the end, it's going to be limited to more paths that are along the lines of what you're looking for instead of just random crapshoots. Give yourself the time to work on it. Give yourself the time to prepare properly. Give yourself the time to mentally get your mind ready so you can go on to that next phase. It all starts with your mind. Once you get the mind set and into that right momentum, other things start to kind of spiral into place. It's just the way it works. And some of us are going to struggle through that, but when it hits you, you're going to go, I wish I had done that so much longer ago because my life is so much better for making these positive decisions. We're always going to have bad days. We're always going to have negative things we got to deal with. But if you don't let it control you and you don't let it consume you, you will ultimately have a fulfilling life that you'll be happy with. Doesn't mean you're going to be a millionaire. Doesn't mean you're going to have the best job in the world. Doesn't mean you're going to have, a supermodel as a wife. But it does mean that you're going to be content and happy. There's nothing wrong with being content. There's nothing wrong with settling. People say, oh, don't ever settle, don't ever settle. Well, don't settle with shit. Don't settle for, garbage. But if you're putting in effort and the results you're getting, if you're happy with those results, then that's you. Not everybody needs the Bentley. Not everybody needs the McMansion. Not everybody needs the expensive designer glasses. That's not something that everybody cares about. So we have to think about what we do care about, and what most of us should be caring about right now is, what is my day in court going to be like, and how much effort have I put in to have some kind of an impact on the outcome? How much effort have you put in? Not your attorney. How much effort have you put in? That's the question you all need to ask yourself tonight as we're wrapping up this video, is how much effort have you put in? Kevin, you've been a diehard follower for a long time, my man. And I forget sometimes you're not going to prison because you're always in the room. I've caught myself wanting to go, when do you surrender, Kevin? Because you've been in here way too long. Are you out there 5K oneing? You got your Rule 35? You're setting up everybody in the chat room, aren't you? But no, it's awesome that you guys are able to share in this experience with each other and keep it going. And there's other YouTubers out there that are probably going to grow from this, guys. We're going to see people that have probably been in this chat room. One day we're going to see a video and be like, yeah, I started a YouTube channel because of RDAP before I went to prison, and I really thought what he was doing was a good idea, so I wanted to take that idea and go to the next level with it. And more fucking power to you if you do it. Just don't surpass me in subscribers. Other than that, come aboard the RDAP train. I say that's a fair question, Kevin. Some people might say, why does it matter why Kevin watches? But from Jesse's point of view, why would anybody watch this if they're not going to prison? And that's a lot of your problem, Jesse, is you're so stuck in your own, and again, this isn't a dig, but it's kind of like your personality is when you think, when you put your own thoughts, like for example, let's say why would anybody like to eat mustard? If you hate mustard and you're like, how can anybody eat that? It's so hard to imagine somebody wanting to do something that's so opposite of what to you seems so weird. So when you can get over that and just realize that it just is the way it is, we're all different in our own way, and then we're all the same in some weird connecting way, right? We're all same in the way that we enjoy coming to here. That's one thing. Kevin, I'm just teasing you, man. I know you're not a snitch. Kevin's like, I was watching RDAP, I'm out of here. But look, and that's a whole nother topic on itself. Why people 5K1, what pushes somebody to do it, what is somebody's limit. And I appreciate that, Kevin. That really does say a lot. I appreciate people that enjoy the effort that I do put into this. I know it may not seem like it sometimes. Sometimes my energy level drains. And I told you guys, when I feel my energy level draining, it's time for me to end the video. Or when the video hits like an hour, because the problem is once you hit over an hour, people that come in later that are going to watch it, when they see an hour, they're like, I don't want to watch an hour-long video next, and they might miss some of the content. So that's why I try to keep them 45 minutes or less. Today was a little bit long, but I feel like our energy was kind of flowing. I was feeling the vibe. Jesse was getting a lot of good support there. So you guys have been real helpful. Will, Juan Carlos, Mick Lovin, Jesse Tang, Kim, all you guys, Gwen, I appreciate everybody that comes in this room and puts in the effort to try to help give back, sharing these messages. Those of you that call, text, leave me emails, I may not always get back to you right away, but I tell you, I read all of them, and I really, 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 really appreciate the kind of love and support that you guys have been showing me for the last year and a half. With that said, we're going to wrap up this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys got some good content out of here. Make sure you check out the Justin Perperny video. If you're not going to go to bed and you want to get some more information right now, check out that Justin Perperny video. Let me post it up there one more time for you guys. And here it is. So if you want, take a look at that video, guys. It had some good information on there, and there was an actual attorney on the interview giving his insight, so it gives you both sides of it. I will see you guys Wednesday. I'm trying to get this organized with Will, so Will, probably tomorrow I'll give you a call. Hopefully Wednesday, guys. Wednesday's video will hopefully be with Will, talking about his Greasy, we need to talk. I need to check on you. I haven't heard from you in like 3 weeks. But you guys get to hear Will's experience on where his mind was when he started, how he was able to get through it, and how he ended up with probation, hopefully. But until then, I will see you guys Wednesday and Saturday. So you guys have an amazing night. I love every single one of you. I'm RDAP Dan, people helping people. Talk to you guys on the flip side.